Have you noticed that many events in your world are curious and lack a scientific basis that can explain them yet? An example of this are the signs and evidence left in your soil, in the crops, in rocks, in the skies, and even in the waters. You use the term unidentified objects to substantiate something inexplicable and unknown. These are not unidentified objects. They all exist and are used by us for navigation, flights, and monitoring the soil and water of your planet. We are not present on your planet merely to leave signs of our existence. We are here to monitor your quality of life and survival. This is our role as guardians of universal life. We are your older brothers. We have more eras of existence and naturally more advanced technology to visit various planets and carry out this monitoring. Throughout the entire era of humanity, terrestrial or not, all facts that could not be explained or translated by science were mystified. This is natural on any planet. What cannot be explained takes on a supernatural or mystical aspect, but there is no supernatural element. Everything follows perfectly natural causes of physics and chemistry. What distances the discoveries of scientific facts is purely human and scientific development. One day, flying through the universe and landing on other planets will be as natural for you as it is for our people. In time, you will be able to join us on these extraplanetary expeditions as a way to expand your knowledge and evolutionary maturity. The whole process will be very natural and gradual. You see, there would be no basis for taking you on these trips now. You would naturally think that we were first invading your planet, then that you were being kidnapped, and finally, that you were taken as guinea pigs never to return. We do nothing without love and respect. We have visited this planet for millennia. We have been able to observe each stage of its evolution, and this is an object of scientific study for us. Your planet is one of the first in the universe to experience a planetary transition with living beings, that is, in physical bodies. There has never been such an event in the universe. When a planet ascends in quantum vibration, its physical and chemical elements change, as do the bodies of animals and humans. So the pains of this process are great, and beings hardly manage to survive. Very few do. Thus, the repopulation of the planet after ascension usually takes millennia, with population growth gradually resurfacing. In the case of Earth, its inhabitants are already being modified by us day by day. Your bodies are receiving new chemical elements through the air, water, and food so that they can withstand the process. The structure of your bodies gradually ceases to be carbon-based and becomes a more purified component, sodium carbonate, a crystal. Little by little, your bodies will become less dense, and thus it will be possible for them to survive the process. No, this is not an experiment of ours with human guinea pigs on Earth. This was a determination of our God that we should do so. Everything in the universe evolves, everything is learning, everything always moves towards perfection, and so it will be from now on. Earth is the first planet to receive this phenomenon in the bodies of its inhabitants before ascension, but on the other planets in the universe, the inhabitants will also receive the same offering. You are beloved children of the Universal Father. You have lived through different eras. You have gone through many evolutionary stages. Now you are ascending. You will be the younger brothers of the galactic community. This community is an extraplanetary fraternity that has among its members the superior representatives in morality of each planet. Your elders of morality and elevation, or evolution. The Earth calls these spiritual governments, but for us, they are simply the planetary leaders, those to whom we turn to approve the plans and actions on your planet. We never arrive here without our coming being permitted by your leaders. And no, these leaders are not your current politicians. They may have been politicians in other eras, but today they are your evolutionary leaders, leaders of your human and moral laws, leaders of your evolutionary processes. They are your elders. Jesus Christ, whom you call the Messiah, for us is Sananda, or as some planets call him, Michael, was and is the highest exponent of the evolution of this planet. But his actions, or physical incarnation, for us, physical emanation, did not only occur on Earth, as many believe. He has already acted on various planets by the determination of the Universal Father. Sananda has been operating as the leader of this planet or galaxy for quite some time, until a son of Gaia, or Earth, could assume this position in the same way as occurred on other planets. Your new leader, or elder, will be Saint Germain, who has already lived many eras with physical emanation supporting the progress of its inhabitants. Among his most well-known lives among you were Saint Joseph, Sananda's father on Earth, He was also Nebuchadnezzar, Diocletian, Merlin, Midas, Pythagoras, Seneca, Count Saint-Germain, Francis Bacon, Gandhi, among other notable lives among you. This devoted and loving leader lived among you throughout all eras and moments of your humanity in order to help you advance. He has always been by Sananda's side in this mission, bringing advanced and enlightened knowledge, as well as being an example of conduct at every moment. Saint Germain is the light manifested in your visible world and will now be directly involved in its perpetuation on earth, as your spiritual leader. The current moment on earth is very beautiful to behold, as it is rapidly moving towards an era of prosperity and benevolence. Everything on your planet will be light. There will be no more place for shadows, nor even for selfishness, greed, fear, sadness, panic, violence, abuse, hatred, resentment, and all sorts of bad feelings that you may emanate. The age of light has arrived, and it is already rapidly advancing to eradicate other feelings contrary to it. You will live happy and abundant days. You will be able to witness the birth of equality for all inhabitants of the earth. You cannot yet comprehend the magnitude of the change this will bring to your lives, and we can only say that this change will be soon, very soon. Some time ago, your leaders initiated a very beneficial movement for equal rights, establishing as universal laws access to health, housing, food, education, sanitation, mobility, and freedom of expression. In this way, they laid the foundation for evaluating a nation's level of progress. From this basis, your countries were classified as first, second, and third world. Today, evaluating these concepts in their entirety, no country on the globe would be in the first world, none. This is because there is no fully established right in all areas. In each country, the full application of a particular issue is lacking. The point is that among the limitations, there were civilizations that provided a smaller number of these rights, and it became conventional to define them as first world, or nations more developed in terms of rights. However, none is fully first world. This is the reality you will still live on Earth, full and unrestricted access to everything. Nothing will be denied to anyone anymore. Nothing. Every living being here will be able to enjoy the available resources, and everything will be abundant. Today, resources are concentrated in the hands of very few inhabitants, and this will change very soon. It is the end of your current financial system, which prioritizes some at the expense of others, which favors very few, who accumulate great fortunes, while others die in misery and hunger. This will end, and it will be soon. Today, your world and its inhabitants struggle to prosper in a system that was created so that they do not prosper. Control of everything is in the hands of a few. It is always the same people who control the price of food, the price of oil, the price of gas, energy, gold, and minerals in general. The average citizen can only accumulate resources at the cost of a lot of work and saving, and even those same few who control everything define how much their hard-earned money is worth. They define how much banks will pay for your savings. In other words, there is no equality of rights. But this will end, and that day is very close to becoming a reality. For every step taken in progress today, 2 steps of control by the same group are also taken. There is no escape. A new resource or technology emerges, and immediately this same group rushes to acquire and control it. It is a pernicious cycle of scarcity, not abundance. To prevent the masses from revolting, they have learned to allow some to participate in the distribution of profits, in the form of shares. For it is these who continue to make the wheel of progress turn, the middle class. So, in this scenario of scarcity, how is it possible for a family to have access to everything? It is not allowed. And in the same way, how will it be possible for this future to happen? Only by breaking the system that operates today, moving the concentration of wealth from the hands of a few to the whole. But this whole process will be done gradually and in an organized way. New technologies will emerge, new parallel financial models will arise, and the speed at which they will spread to everyone will not allow control by the same class of a few. They will not be allowed to control these technologies, because they will not be sold, they will be donated to humanity. That is why we tell you that the future is promising, everything will belong to everyone. Yet you may still be wondering how this change can occur without generating chaos and destruction? Well, we tell you that there will be a transition period from one model to another. Naturally, people will migrate from one existing system to another. Thus, the sales that occurred in the system that was controlled by them will cease to occur. These companies that held control of profit sharing through shares will lose value. People will be so aware of the value of their money that they will choose to put it precisely in companies that favor the participation of all and not in those that concentrate a large part of the resources for the same holders always. It will be a revolution through the empowerment and awareness of the citizen. Every inhabitant of Earth will choose progress and the common good, not the continuation of a system that favors a few and enslaves many. And that day is approaching. Naturally, the ultra-rich of your planet already know that the current bubble will burst, and they believe with all their hearts that they will lose nothing, so they rush to acquire land and natural resources in the hope of still controlling the minerals and food that are the basis of your society. But this model will cease to exist. With new technologies, any inhabitant will be able to grow their food at home and, in the same way, will be able to create clothes and shoes by reusing the resources they already have. Then, from one moment to the next, the current value of these shares in highly controlled companies will fall. People will choose to keep their money in serious and independent companies, and these will not be for sale. Every child of Earth who is inspired to create it will have within it an immense love and respect for the whole and will not allow the current system to control its life and creation. It will be so easy to create products, services, and solutions that people will prefer to exchange resources with each other instead of selling them, and in this way, the current financial system will cease to be important. Every citizen of Earth will live and work doing what they love, which will bring immense happiness, health, and satisfaction to all. And thus, the process of migrating from an enslaving system to a system of abundance will occur. Be happy, brothers and sisters of Earth. Be happy. Pleiadian Brothers. Pleiadian Ship, June 10, 2025.